Alright guys, so I just mowed the grass as tight as I could get it, as low as my deck would go. As you can see, it's tight. And now you can really see the, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but the dips that we're working with that's holding water. Right through there, all along from right there. Now we can't fill that spot in because that's where the water meter is. But all along right here where the grass is cut, coming this way, we're going to fill that in and work it all back up into this corner. And you can see how the ground drains right here, but this being the lowest spot of them all. So basically what we want to do is create a even drain. Now, we do have a drain pipe right here, and that drain pipe runs all the way up the front and around the corner. And if you look over there, there's a rock bed there. And what it is, it's the drain from the water. As you can see, the concrete has two different levels here. So all the water that flows through here actually goes into this drain right here, and it drains down through that pipe. So we have to create a divot, mobile divot, enough that it will keep draining out into the yard, or the drain pipe is pretty much useless. So we'll build it up on this side and that side, but leaving it divoted, working it at this angle because we want to work it back towards this corner right here, all the way down. So, but that's the plan. All right, now let's talk about the dirt. Okay, so this is what is called anywhere from 70 to 80 mixed sand clay. Okay, and that's the high end is the sand, and the reason is because this stuff drains off water really well. It drains through, but it packs really well. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is that the water drains through it really good. Number three, it is real easy to level. It's real easy to get it to grade and pack. It packs really fast. And then another reason that I like using this stuff is because the topsoil, your sod, roots through it really quick and grabs a hold. That's what we used here. From that fence back there, all the way up, from that drain, all the way through here. And remember, it was some spots were 14 inches deep. Nothing but a big old mud hole. The average was 12, but a lot of spots were 14 inches. And we filled it in with this stuff. And in 3 weeks' time, after we laid the sod, they were out here mowing, and it wasn't even rutting. It was supporting, with a lot of rain, supporting the weight of the lawnmowers, these big lawnmowers, zero-turn lawnmower. So, which is over 1,000 pounds. So, yeah. So it does really, really well. And that's why we're going to use it, because it's real easy to get your grade with it and smooth it out without having to have a box blade. I want to start down here and start bringing the grade out, because I know where it's got to end. It's got to end flush right there. A little bit higher, but not much. It's got to end flush right there. So I want to bring that grade out. And I know I got to build up pretty good right through here. So I want to start working it, bringing it in. And you can see where them leaves are. That's the high side. This is the high side. So I kind of want to just fill that in and then just bring that out, floating it straight out this way and work it into here. Once I got this grade all pretty much set, I know how much I got to tilt off to keep it from beveling like this in here. I want it to go like this. So since I want everything to flow this way, I need to bring my grade this way and finish off here. If I start this way, I'll actually can tilt the ground backwards, because you're working backwards, you know, especially if you're using a front end loader to drag, you're working backwards. So, you know, always start from your head and work to your tail. Alright guys, I want to talk about why I got my bucket set up the way I do. If you notice, I got my 2-bar on there and I got my edge tamers on there. Okay, well, a couple of reasons. One, 2-bar is going to help really quick to dig into that monster pile right there, because it's sat overnight, so it's weighted down. It's going to dig in fast. The edge tamers, though, is going to protect me from gouging up that concrete slab as I get lower and lower. Now I'll start midway and working the top end, but as I get on that concrete, I want to make sure that I am protected. Once I get down to the very last of it, you know, that's just on the concrete, I'll pull the edge tamers off, I'll pull the tooth bar off, and I'll just slightly scrape the bottom of the concrete, pushing it up, and then we'll shovel it into the bucket. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, guys, and of course, you know, probably at a little point after this, a couple of minutes after this, the music will kick in, because yeah, because I'm gonna speed it up, because you ain't gonna want to sit here and watch a 5-hour video of me spreading dirt. So let's get this going. Alright guys, alright, now as you can see right here, I'm going to show y'all why I like this stuff so much. You see that, look how flat, and I haven't even added pressure, haven't took the tooth bar off and actually started using the actual cutting edge of the bucket to start scraping. That's just the back, the heel of the bucket, just rolling down that sucker in float, which is ain't got much weight or anything. But look how slick that is. And it's already starting to pack so fast, I'm barely leaving tire tracks, okay? And that's what I like about this stuff, is that it packs and you can see what you got. And you can see, you turn it like this, let me zoom in here. And you can see now that I got from right here to right there, almost got a perfectly level playing field. Now I don't want it perfectly level because I'm putting sod on it, and sod usually kicks up about 1.5 inches, inch to 1.5 inches, depending on how much dirt they cut with the sod. So you don't want it perfectly level, you want it just a little bit under once it's packed. Now if it's loose, well then you want it higher because then it's going to pack its way down. But this stuff here, you can literally pack it with the weight of the tractor. So, alright, let's talk about a couple of the things I was doing with the tractor and loading and that and spreading and why I was doing it. Excuse the wind, guys. Nothing I can do about it. It's the weather. Alright, so one of the things, if you notice, you see me doing is trying to minimize the spin of my tire. Okay, I don't want to tear up all that grass. We're not working on that grass. That grass is done. So I want to minimize damage to that part. We're only trying to do enough sod, let me do this, enough sod to cover just what we need to try to minimize cost on this for the customer. You know, and we talked to them about that. We might have to get a little bit more because once you start spreading, you know, you have an idea of where the dirt's going to go, but when you start spreading, feathering that, it usually ends up bigger than you want. But that's just the nature of the game. So, but given that, another thing, if you notice, I was doing was shaking my bucket a lot. Once I got my load up, shaking it, says just grabbing as much as my bucket can carry and run across. Reason is, I don't want to sprinkle that stuff. I don't want it falling all over the yard. I only want it where I want it. Another thing was I was reaching over and scraping my pile back towards me. I don't want the pile to spread. I want to try to confine it. So when I can, I'll reach up, grab it, and pull it back towards me and try to keep it as close to the edge as possible to minimize it spreading out, getting bigger and bigger as I'm pushing. So if I can pull it back, then push, well, usually I got it in my bucket before it gets back to where it was to start with. Alright guys, so I'll show you what it did. As you can see, it climbs right here with the fence. So apparently when they did what they did is when they dug the 4x4s to put the post in for the fence, they just kind of spread that dirt around and kind of built up a levee right along the edge. Alright, so what I did was I come in and I cut it down lower. And the reason I cut it down lower is because we're going to put sod here. So we want it lower so that when we put our sod at that depth of the sod, we're not above and you're fighting the same thing. So if you can see from that line now, from that drain line, what I got is from this end here, we're angled down to here, all along right there. All right, running along the side of the shop right there. Right there where the shade is. Okay, so all that water is going to run this way. And then when the drain line comes out right here, it's all going to run this way, and I got all this line tilted this way, all this ground is going to be tilted this way, and all this is running downhill to run out here. Here's the thing is that when you got a low spot, when you're holding water in your yard, there is no fill the low spot in and stop holding water. That is not how it works. How it works is you got to control the water. Unless you're going to build a roof over your whole entire yard and stop the water from coming in, it doesn't do no good to fill in the low spot, because all you're going to do is transfer the water from that low spot to another one. It's going to find somewhere to go. It's got to go somewhere. So what you do is you fill in the low spot and you create a control for the water to exit. And that's what you got to do, is you got to find a way of exiting the water, getting rid of it. So it's starting to sprinkle right now. That's awesome. But anyway, yeah, that's what you got to do. And so that's what we're working on here, is that it was holding a tremendous amount of water right here, and it would stay. So, but all this was built up along that edge, and it was really, really low. So we're going to add in here, and it was holding water here because it was so low it couldn't drain right through here. It was high right here, and it was all low right here, and it just would sit there and hold. And this drain pipe was actually adding to that water. So now we got it all sloping nice like this into this little crease right here. And so if I can hold it straight, you see it's got a nice angle to it, and it's going to drain right here. Everything that falls off this roof, everything that comes off of this roof, it's going to fall right here. It's all going to drain right here, and this is going to create a mowable ditch. So it's going to be a nice sloping belly that's going to be barely noticeable once it grasses in that, but it will create a area for the water to channel and exit right out the yard. So that's what you got to do. Well, all right guys, so we are done, at least with the dirt work and that. You know, the sod is going to be about a week out, but yeah, so this is her, all laid out and ready to go. So yep. So now we got an even playing field here, and then once this packs down and the sod is laid and that, it will slope down. We already did the dimensions, you know, to see just how square we were. From 16 feet over this way, we have a 6.5 inch drop in just 16 feet towards where this kind of ditch is. So that is beautiful. That will most certainly allow the water to drain quickly in heavy rains with all the grass. So, and we have a huge decline this way, also this way, from the top of that embankment to right over the center of this ditching area right here. There is a 3-inch gap. If you put a straight line across there, straight edge across that sucker, there's a 3-inch gap. So it's got a 3-inch tilt to it. So that's really nice in just that shorter distance, which is about 9 feet, 10 feet. So yeah, so that is really, really cool. So I think everything is going to work out just fine. All right guys, so this is the finished project. It needs to be cut, but we've been having some rain finally, so yeah, it's not cut, but you can see as it tied itself in really well. This is 4 weeks old, 5 weeks now since we laid this sod down and we did the dirt work. And as you can see, where I left it open is filling in nicely right here, because that is my drainage right there all the way to the back there. And we have had some pretty heavy rains ever since we put this down, and they have not found any puddling nowhere in the yard for the first time since they've been here. So that is awesome. That's what we were trying to achieve, was to make sure it drained properly, but yet gave them a mowable and slightly slanted yard. So playing off of what we did the first time in this area, we just tapered it down, and that sod will suck itself down tighter and tighter as the roots grow. By next year, you will not be able to determine where we laid this sod and where the old one was at all. All them edges will be gone. So, but yeah, and this is the walkway. It's finished. Curry got it all knocked out, and she got her boxes planted in that. But this is how the walkway came out. And we get a lot of compliments about this walkway from people that come and visit. And that it actually looks really, really cool. And that now the next thing is as soon as the wood dries out enough to stain. So that's the only thing that's left. But all right, guys, so this is John with Louisiana Tractor Works and Projects. So I will see y'all on the next one whenever I get it posted up. Y'all have a great week or weekend, whichever one it is I get this posted up, and God bless everyone.